October 1992, Swango had gotten too cocky. Even though he was an unlicensed doctor who had obtained an internship under false pretenses, hiding his past, he dared to apply
Unlicensed?
for membership.
Did I just hear that?
Hello, YouTube. Welcome back
Hello, YouTube.
to yet another podcast, a talk show. It's been a while since we did one. The previous one was a cast, if you guys remember. If you guys
I
don't,
mean, it did pretty good.
yeah, it did pretty good.
The cast did pretty good. At
You
least
guys,
for us.
you guys have been
Must
supporting
not.
us of late, and we are loving that. We are loving to see that support. My room stinks.
Cats?
No, I think I farted. Jeez.
This guy and his fart jokes, I swear to God. His streams are also that. By the way, if you haven't forgotten, we still do stream on
we
Twitch.
still do streams,
Come check us out.
and if you guys are not watching this, because you obviously are not going to watch this video today itself. I'm going to be streaming later after this recording is done, so yeah, no point mentioning it over here because
There's no point mentioning it, but shit, I don't know why I even said that, but yeah, just a reminder.
you guys are gonna see it later. But yeah, future viewers, do remember we still do stream on and off. Yeah, do come join us over there. And today's video is going to be a crime podcast. Back to our roots again.
Long time.
Yep, Dr. Death 2. I told
If
you guys it was
remember
coming
the
up.
First Dr. Death. Yep. If you remember the first Dr. Death, Harold Shipman, you must be knowing that we've got a pretty crazy series lined up. If you like that video, if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Yep, go watch it. I'll drop the I button right here. Skip this video, go to that one first, watch that, and then come back to this and watch the Dr. Death
Yes.
2.
It's not a continuation of that story. It's just another character.
Yep.
Not a character, another person.
But at this point of time, we just want you to watch every single video which we have uploaded for you guys out there, because we love and appreciate that support which you guys throw at our face.
Yes.
That's really keeping us motivated, you know. Again, this is a talk show. Do not annoy me. This is a talk show.
I mean, see, we are happy you guys are showing love on our videos, but the fact that you guys want shorter videos does not really make sense, guys. It's a talk show. It's supposed to be long.
You're discussing things through in detail. We want to speak our heart out. Let us talk to you guys. Why do you guys want to be formal with us? Let's
Why
talk to you
don't you
guys.
chase us away all the time? I mean, don't you want to see our beautiful faces for like an hour or so?
Let's have fun together, guys. Let's just chill out. Let's hang out. Let's have fun. If you guys want gaming content, this was another announcement that I had to make. You guys push us to. Yep. You remember this announcement, I'm pretty sure. You push us to 1K. You guys do that for us. That will show us your support for real. For that, do whatever you have to do. Share the video, like the video, watch the video, get new friends to the channel, get new family members to the channel. Whatever you have to do, you do that.
Whatever you do, get us to 1K.
You get us to 1K. You're gonna get a new channel, which is going to be vlogging and motovlogging together. And then the third thing, the gaming content and the vlogging content from this channel is gonna die out completely. This channel is strictly gonna remain as a talk show channel, all about podcasts, coscasts, and all that. That's all. The second channel goes up for vlogging and motovlogging.
Motovlogging.
And
Motovlogging.
Sharon just got a brain fart. And then
Yep, so that's it.
for gaming content, you guys can join us on Twitch. Gaming is strictly gonna remain live streams only, so you guys can come join us over there. Twitch is all about gaming here on out, especially the day you get us to 1K. That day onwards, it's strictly gonna be gaming on Twitch, podcasts on this channel, vlogging on the second channel, and if time permits, and if you guys like the content, And if you guys want music content, I can make a third channel for music stuff. So do let me know, whatever it is. Do let me know. Do let Sharon know, or you can come on to our Instagram. You can go down into the comment section. Whatever makes you comfortable to talk to us, go there, do that. Convey your thoughts to us, your suggestions to us. We do consider them seriously. And
you know we guys reply to all of your comments.
all the comments.
Just make use of that.
Since day one. Do not spam the comments, guys. Do not spam the comments with useless shit. You guys are coming and thanking us for a new video, or appreciating our work, or suggesting us something, making small talks, also fine. Do not spam the videos with links of useless sites and all that random shit, because your comment is straight up gonna get deleted and no one is ever gonna know you commented. And we have had that plenty of times in the past. You guys want to promote your own channel down in the comment section? Go ahead.
Go ahead, do it.
Go ahead, drop your channel link in the comment section. Ask people to come and watch. We do not mind, but do not
It's completely
share
okay
useless
by
links
us.
down there. Alright, so let's dive right in. This is a story of forgot already. Joseph Michael Swango. Joseph Michael Swango. The Dr. Death 2, aka Dr. Death 2. So this story has been researched by our podcast team and put together, and I guess they must have done something to make it sound better. And the voiceover is done by AI, so you guys are hopefully okay with that. So
It's going to sound fake, it's kind of going to sound emotionless, but it's AI, guys.
yep. If you guys don't know what's going on in the story, well done. We don't know either. Let's dive right in. Let's do this. Anyways, before we dive into the story, disclaimer is rolling right now, so you guys know what you're signing up for. If you don't want to, sign out, go away, watch something else which is lighter on your head. Do not watch something which makes you uncomfortable.
Joseph Michael Swango, born October 21st, 1954, Tacoma, Washington, was a physician and American serial killer convicted of 4 murders proven. But one might think 4 murders? That isn't really a lot considering Harold Frederick Shipman, isn't it? Don't worry, the ground underneath your feet will crumble away as we continue further along the story. It's always shocking after we know the whole story, and with each case the bars keep getting set higher and higher in terms of shock factor, but lower and lower in terms of how much more a human being can stoop to fulfill their sick desires.
We already got hit by a number of deaths.
We did, indeed. And honestly speaking, 4 deaths
Might sound less.
sounds less, but it's still lives.
But
4
let's actually.
people were affected, 4 families were affected. Still what it
But
is.
let's find out what is the real lead over here.
I mean, yep. Let's.
To know more, let's first discuss about Swango's early life. John Swango was a valedictorian of his 1972.
Wasn't his name Joseph? So shouldn't it be Joe?
Did he say John?
Yep. It's okay. I guess that was his second name or something. Few people might have
could
been
be.
knowing him as John.
Quincy Catholic Boys High School class, and hands down was a genius with a tested IQ rating of 160. He was named High School Student of the Year by the National Merit Scholarship Organization in 1975.
160.
IQ rating of 160.
160. Do you get how high of a number that is?
I'll hardly
I'm a
reach a
0.
scale of 20.
No, I'm at 0.
She's not at 20, guys. I mean, she's not at 0, guys. She's more than me. She's just playing it dumb.
Oh god. I mean, let's not go there. Let's continue.
In 1983, he had finished medical school and was serving his internship at Ohio State University. But later on, as he progressed, he was known for his half-hearted approach to his studies and was caught faking checkups during his obstetrics and gynecology rotation. He only survived when one member of the committee voted to give him a second chance, but serious concerns had been raised about his competence. Eventually, the school let him graduate a year after the rest of his class on condition that he repeat the OB/GYN rotation and complete several assignments in other specialties. As if this wasn't enough, there was something much more concerning. While he worked in Rhodes Hall at OSU, nurses noticed that apparently healthy patients began dying mysteriously with alarming frequency. Each time, Swango had been the floor intern.
If you guys are confused about OSU, OSU is Ohio State University.
State University.
Yep.
One nurse caught him injecting some medicine into a patient who later became strangely ill. Regardless, later on he was recommended for licensing as a physician and moved on to Quincy, Illinois, where he joined the staff of Blessing Hospital. Details of Swango's early life are unclear, and this is all we could find. Same as before, while his service at Marine Corps paramedics began suffering attacks of violent nausea and found quantities of ant poison in the doctor's gym bag. Police were notified and
Ant
Swango was
poison?
charged with assault. Authorities began exhuming.
Well, ant poison is arsenic, isn't it? If I'm not wrong. As
Maybe.
long as,
But,
as
like-
far as I know, the ones which are sold in India do contain mercury in it, and the ones which are sold outside India contain arsenic in it. Arsenic basically, if I'm not wrong, arsenic is silver. Aurum is gold, arsenic is silver. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Swango's unfortunate Ohio patients, including Ricky DeLong, who had apparently been suffocated. Swango was sentenced to 5 years in prison and released from prison and
Already?
remains eligible to practice in Illinois.
well, this isn't his early life anymore. This is
I know, but I know. It has come way past his early life. But how do you put a doctor in prison for 5 years and then he's again eligible to work normally? I mean, shouldn't they be fired immediately if that's the case?
See, in my opinion, if you are looking at a doctor
Mm-hmm.
who has committed a crime in his occupation,
Mm-hmm.
then I think first things first, his license should be revoked.
Licensing should be removed, yes.
Yep. Because let's say if the doctor does a crime apart from his occupation somewhere else, whereas he's not the doctor, whereas he's done that kind of a thing, whatever he has done to kill or to result in a death of another person, not as a doctor, but as a normal human being, that still makes sense if you don't revoke the license. But over here, he's doing doctorly deeds, injecting his patients
Exactly.
with poison.
With witnesses also.
Yep.
People, I mean, witnessed him doing that and
And the
not
fact that
revoking his license.
Yep. And the fact that he goes to jail and you do not take his license away, and you still continue to let him practice medicine, I don't see a
Now
safe
see.
side in this.
With Shipman, Harold Shipman, if you guys remember, he had also been to prison, but not for, killing off his patients or people doubting that he killed off his patients. He had been to prison for prescribing drugs or taking drugs.
Yep. And as a doctor,
That's-
you're not allowed to do drugs because it's just obvious. It's
Right.
because you need to be at the heights of your senses to do the things which you're doing. And this dude is a surgeon. So was Harold Shipman. No, he was a physicist. He was a physicist.
Yes.
But still, you being a doctor, your judgment needs to be on point. So you cannot ruin your judgment by doing substances.
But in my opinion, I mean, yeah, fair enough. But him coming back to work after attending rehab still kind of made sense. Whereas Swango was literally in prison for suspicious behavior or killing of his patients for 5 years, and him coming back to work is not right in my opinion.
My dudes, there's a difference between rehab and prison.
I,
Rehab is done for people who have bad habits.
yeah,
Prison is
yeah,
for people who are bad. So, yep, you don't let a doctor back into business if the doctor had gone into jail in the first place doing doctorly deeds in a wrong way.
exactly.
I don't
I
know.
mean, but well, who are we to judge?
Let's just hear it out.
Just stating,
Yep.
yeah.
Let's just hear it out anyways and find out what happened.
After his release in 1991, he forged several legal documents to reestablish himself, including a fact sheet from the Illinois Department of Corrections that falsified his criminal record.
Wow.
In 1991, David J. Adams forged a restoration of civil rights letter from the governor of Virginia, falsely stating that the governor had restored Swango's right to vote and serve on a jury.
Are you kidding me? How are these people
Dude,
forging these documents? So was Harold Shipman doing. He literally forged a will. Although he
he
got
did.
caught for that.
He did get caught, but
How are these people forging documents? That too, such official level documents. What are these people in law doing? Everywhere, every country, law is botching up, isn't it?
it's even worse now. Forging is not that big of a deal. Back then, maybe yeah, but now it. You just go like, can I have an official document and it's with you? Like forge a document for me and there it is.
Honestly speaking, if I go to a government office
Mm-hmm.
and if it is rushed up, all right, I think the last time I had been to a government office was like 2 to 3 years back.
Mm-hmm.
Not 2 to 3 years back, a while back, honestly, a while back. And that was for my
Long
passport.
back.
Yep, that was for my passport. You know the story already.
I do.
The first day I went over there, it was rushed up. There was absolutely, I mean, the queue was just not moving, all right. We waited for the entire day. We went to the office in the morning at around 8 a.m. No, 9 a.m. 9 a.m. is when the office opens for applications. We went at 9 a.m. We are there till 8:30 in the evening, 8:30 p.m., which is 20, which is our 20 of the day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the passport officer calls the rest of the leftover people, including me and my mom. My mom was with me. She had her passport already, but she was with me because my passport was being made and leaving me alone in an office. Hassle. So, yeah, she was with me. So, all of us are summoned into the passport officer's room, his cabin. Everyone is just silently standing over there, and then he just tells us, sorry for the delay. You people have to. He didn't even tell sorry, by the way. He didn't tell sorry. He was like, he straight up goes like, you people have to come tomorrow. You people have to wait in the queue so that your application process can be seen through. And at this point of time, I don't know what got into me. I lost my cool. I yelled the shit out of that officer to a point wherein he freaked out for a second. And then
I
his
mean, good thing you did.
whatever it is, it's kind of annoying. You wait for the entire day and then you hear the
It
same
is.
thing all over on repeat again, telling you need to come tomorrow. You need to sit in the queue. The job was not done today. So yeah, tomorrow is again a wait day for you. And the thing which he specifically mentioned was, we cannot assure you how long it's gonna take, but you need to come and wait. That's where I lost it. If you are coming
Government
tomorrow,
offices, man.
we are sitting over there, and since we had come the day before, we should get some higher priority, right?
So,
We have waited for a
priority,
little longer
exactly.
time than the new applicants who have come
Exactly.
the next day. So I blasted the living crap out of this
Crap
dude.
out of him.
I shouldn't have, but I did. And his security got into the room. They escorted us out. At that point of time, I had lost hopes that I was ever going to get a passport in my life ever again. And I was okay with that because I had removed all my frustration on this dude for waiting the entire day. Next day, I go to the office. Immediately, I get called into the officer's room. Application checked, seal given. Here's your passport, sir. I mean, here's your provisional passport, sir. Your official will come within a week. Bye bye.
See, now that's not to say that you should yell at the wherever you go, whichever office you go, you should yell at them to get your work done faster. No, I mean, this is just an experience. It happens. I've been a victim.
Let me tell
Recently,
you, let me tell you why I told you this
yeah.
story. The second day I went
Mm-hmm.
into the office, they didn't even care to check my documents at all. They're like, you have this, right? All right, cool. Verified. You can have your passport. This is what I mean,
I
how
mean,
easy it is to cheat the system. Although I did have all my
it is.
documents on point, all original copies. If they wanted Xerox, that was also ready. Basically, photocopies, if foreign audience does
Mm-hmm.
not understand. I was having everything, but they just didn't care to check it. That is how easy it is to fool the system. This is why forging is such an easy thing.
Yep, it is.
A little bit of
It
pressure and
indeed is.
persuasion, they just break.
And
Yep, bribing is another problem. And yes, moving
I
ahead.
mean,
In 1992, he used an alias, David J. Adams, to apply for a residency program in West Virginia and began working at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. In December of that year, the AMA discovered the poisoning conviction in Swango's past, and the medical center discharged Swango quietly. 4 months later, the dean at South Dakota learned that Swango had moved to New York and placed a call to the dean at Stony Brook School of Medicine.
So they literally turned a blind eye to his past.
they just did. It confuses me. How?
See, you turn a blind eye to a person who hasn't passed an exam still makes sense. You turn a blind eye to a person who has probably done some operation or surgery or consultation under influence, still fine. He has literally killed 4 people already. I guess 4, right?
Should four, yes.
And there is proof that he
Four.
has poisoned his patients. And you turn a blind eye to that.
Shouldn't not having a criminal record be important for getting a job? Isn't that one of the most important things, especially, I mean, not especially for a doctor, for any job for that matter? Shouldn't that be an important thing?
See, I'm not making a big fuss out of this and I'm calling out USA on this. But having a speed ticket while getting a new job is a problem. But having murder records on your name and applying for a new job is not a problem.
I mean, if you think there is some sort of system or something that goes into it that kind of looks over all this crap, just let us know down below. Let us know what you think about this stuff, because honestly, this is confusing to the both of us. Seriously.
I honestly don't get this at times. Meager issues like
This
a speeding ticket or a lane splitting ticket or breaking a stop sign gives you a criminal record, but killing someone doesn't give you a criminal record.
And you cannot remove the fact that you have a criminal record. It's there. It's called a criminal record for a reason. You can't delete it if you're going to get a job.
Sometimes things shock me so much. I think we should stop pausing this video this much because this is a long one.
Chances are that if you asked any one of Michael Swango's 71 fellow medical students at Southern Illinois University what they thought of him, they would reply,
He's nuts.
The
different
university,
voices this
which
time.
sits 350 miles south of Chicago and is one of the state's more esteemed places of higher learning, expects much of its students. In fact, SIU's School of Medicine was the first in the nation to create a written set of criteria to aptly prepare students for an inclusive knowledge of practical medicine while still in their freshman year. Michael Swango was different than the rest of the would-be hopeful doctors. He kept to himself and drew resentment from his peers by spending more time working as a local ambulance attendant than attending his classes and laboratory sessions. That he had the brains to accomplish his studies and extracurricular activities simultaneously might have gained admiration had it not been for an obvious lack of discipline at school, a conceited air, a sloppy skills regimen during dissections, and a noticeable buttering up to certain professors. If upbraided for making an error during technique, he would drop immediately to the floor to perform a series of self-chastising push-ups, a form of punishment practiced by the military, but not by civilian pre-meds.
See, I get it. Buttering up is a common thing. Everyone does that. You have done
It's a
that. I
common
have
thing.
done that. Every student in their phase of life does that.
At least once.
Yeah, everyone has done
At
that.
least.
That's not a big deal. But sometimes he's acting like a psychopath. You need to, your actions change according to the surrounding you are in. Listening to all these actions, whatever has been described so far, I think he has some kind of mental issue.
He most definitely does.
Yep. And please excuse
Looks
all
like
the sound
something.
from outside the window. It's rainy over here.
And outside my window, if you hear a train or anything, I live right next to a railway station. Please ignore that.
Yep. I should have shut the windows, but no, I forgot.
Let's move on.
A major part of any medical student's training is the education that comes with working hands-on at hospitals with actual patients. Under direct supervision of a trained physician, students are graded on their ability to conduct the history and physicals of patients. This process is called HNP, where students are expected to accurately summarize a patient's health background and assess a proper physical schedule for the patient while under the hospital's care. It is a very important phase of a medical education, for it 1. Hones a student's perception of various illnesses and the effects of required treatments, while 2. Teaching them a professional and caring bedside manner.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
in the eyes of his classmates, Swango washed out of HNP. Particularly enlightening to them was his attitude toward death. He demonstrated a morbid interest in critical patients, almost as if waiting for them to succumb. When one pupil asked him how he could be so cold, he answered,
Hey, death happens.
and it happened so often
See,
to those patients who Swango oversaw that the students half jokingly, half suspiciously said he was acting as if he had a license to kill.
See, let me tell you one thing. Even I say that line quite a lot. Every time. For me, the
See.
thing is, it's nature. Life comes, life goes.
It's realistic. I mean, see, not saying we're emotionless. We both have experienced a lot,
Yep.
and we know that it comes with pain, a lot
Yep.
of pain.
Yep.
But it's nature. It's how. It's a circle. It's a circle of life.
But what I'm trying to say over here is the way he expressed it is what is important over there. If he just told it casually and did not give two shits about it, and he told, and the death just happens, that is concerning. But
That is
if
concerning.
but if he put it in a way like he respects nature and its powers and a life cycle of a person, then it still makes sense.
It does.
As a parody of James Bond 007, they began calling him 00 Swango behind his back. Born as Joseph Michael Swango, the boy canceled out his first name at an early age and let his Quincy, Illinois friends call him Mike. Cut to a few years back. His parents Muriel and Virgil experienced little trouble with him as he practiced good manners, wore suit coats and white shirts throughout the bead and bandana culture of the 1960s, and brought in high grades throughout elementary and high schools. A clarinetist with the Christian Brothers HS Marching Band, he won an Outstanding Merit Award for this talent. After graduating valedictorian in 1972, he decided to attend nearby Millikin University College to pursue a degree in music. The suit coats vanished to be replaced by military fatigues. He painted his up till then
got a good
immaculate automobile and
academic
army green,
background, all right,
and became
until
preoccupied
college.
in things tragic and violent. He started a scrapbook of clippings from newspapers referring to car and plane crashes, bloody military coups, savage sex crimes, arsons, and riots. Losing interest in school, he left after his second year to join the U.S. Marine Corps. While his mother recently divorced, her marriage had been an on and off again affair with a man more interested in his military career than his family. For many years, she was the lonely housewife left alone to raise 4 sons while husband Virgil served 2 duties in Vietnam. Before the divorce, the family endured 16 relocations as military transfers took Colonel Swango across the country during the 50s and 60s, but after he left for Saigon a second time, his departure had been too much for Muriel. She turned to her favorite son, Michael, to uplift the Swango name into something more than the derivation of ramrods and mortar shells. One stint with the Marines was all Michael could handle. Honorably discharged from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, in 1976, he returned home to resume his college education. No longer interested in music, he told his happy mother that he wanted to study medicine. Now attending Quincy College, he majored in both biology and chemistry, prerequisites for pre-med schools, and worked after classes as an ambulance attendant at a local medical center. Passing the medical college administration test with flying colors, winning the coveted American Chemical Society Award, and graduating summa cum laude, Swango's name was placed at the top of Southern Illinois University's long waiting list of prospective pre-med students in 1979. Cut back to the present. The reason that Swango worked for the American Ambulance Service while at SIU, even though it meant losing valuable study time, was simple. He was fascinated by the front row scenes of gore and violence the job afforded.
Oh, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense why he chose ambulance service over classes.
Chaos excited him. The sight of blood tingled his loins. Tableaus of street curbs dense with ogling crowds, and the street a pile of twisted metal once a pair of cars, and somewhere amid the fusion parts of 2 human beings that needed to be pried loose. This, to Swango, was ecstasy. And it cost nothing. In fact, the ambulance corps paid him to enjoy the scenery. In 1982, while Swango was in his last year at SIU, his father died.
That's exactly what all these psychiatrists say, you know. All these psychiatrists who have tested all these murderers and people who commit crimes of such sort. I have read an article on that saying, to them, it feels like a drug. They need to do it. They can't stay without it.
If you think about it, yes, it is kind of like a drug, you can say. You get obsessed with it. I mean, it works different for a few people, but few people who are loose in the head, yeah, it kind of feels like a drug to them.
Yep. And I kind of pity people like that because you could have gotten help, but you chose to ruin lives. Honestly, actually, no pity, no. No, I take it back. No pity for these people.
Then don't come at us for being like they are human as no, bro. Come on.
No.
It does not work like that.
You can come at me all you want. What is wrong is wrong. Killing someone is never right. Alright?
You cannot feel pity? You cannot feel pity for the person committing the murder just because they might have had a bad childhood. That's they are still a murderer.
See, yesterday I was watching a video.
Regardless of which.
Yesterday I was watching a video wherein there was a crime which is a pretty peculiar one. The criminal
Mm-hmm.
came forward later after the murder was done and confessed, telling the criminal was under hypnosis while he committed the crime. At
Not
that
an
point of
excuse.
time, at that point of time, the court did not accept it, and the criminal was sent to jail. Now, the same
Mm-hmm.
kind of murder happened a decade later, I guess, and it
Mm-hmm.
was the same situation. Another criminal under hypnosis committed a crime, killed a person, got apprehended for it, and was sent to court. All the trials and whatnot. The jury ended up making the person not guilty this time because the person was under hypnosis. Now, this is a very controversial topic. I do not know. I haven't been under hypnosis, but if what hypnosis is the way how people describe it, then I think that can be exempted because the person is not in the right mind. The person doesn't know what's happening.
If
Technically, their
it's
conscience is asleep. They have absolutely no idea what's going on.
it is a controversial topic. Getting into too much of details would,
Yep.
I mean, not work out well. But
No, it's okay. We
no,
can discuss controversies as well. It doesn't
um,
make us a lesser channel or
yeah,
whatever.
I know we can discuss controversies, but
In
calling
the
it
cast.
wrong at the point, I mean, yeah, that's there.
If you guys want to discuss more about this, we will go ahead and make a cast on topics like this. So, yep, you can join us there. Do let us know if you guys want a topic like that. Anyways, moving on ahead with this. So the reason why I went to that is because this guy is committing crimes in a sane mind. He's fully aware of what he's doing. So I don't think
Mm-hmm.
he should be exempted.
Yep.
Never close to Virgil, barely knowing the man, Swango nevertheless did the honorable thing and turned out to show respect alongside his family at the funeral. After graveside services, his mother presented her favorite boy with something she had found among the colonel's personal effects. It was a scrapbook, very similar to the one her son had already started on his own, but more complete. It bulged with columns and photos cut from magazines and newspapers, a virtual dictionary of general mayhem, of the world's worst disasters, of everything from assassinations to mass killings.
Now we
Swango's
see where it
reaction
comes
when he
down
saw
from.
it.
Hell, I guess Dad wasn't such a bad guy after all.
Inspired by his father's creativity, Swango searched local and Chicago papers for any such testimony to bloodletting to thicken his own scrapbook. One evening, an associate asked him why the odd fixation. Swango's answer scared the other.
If I'm ever accused of murder, this will prove I'm mentally unstable.
The medical center belonging to
You
Ohio
saying
State
that
University,
it just sounds so ridiculous. Do you know
was
that?
and is considered top drawer among the profession. Its educational agenda and attention to professionalism are unequaled, and because of this, only the best pre-made graduates are permitted through its doors in Columbus, Ohio.
Let me tell you one thing.
Yeah.
People who are guilty,
Mm-hmm.
usually tend to defend themselves early on in the stage.
Yep.
Have you ever noticed that?
Yep.
Usually,
Yep.
people,
Yep.
when they are guilty, they try to put things in such a way early on in the stage where the chances
Right.
of doubt and suspicion are so low, it makes the person look like, okay, yeah, this person is totally against it. So I don't think this person is gonna do this or that
Could
or
have done
whatever.
it. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
And that's exactly what he did there. He planted a seed in the minds of people surrounding him, telling, if I ever do something like that, that means I'm messed up in the head. That's what he meant.
Yep.
So I'm not going.
Like,
I'm
yeah,
I'm
that's
never going in that direction in the first place because I'm not insane.
that sounds so ironic. But yeah.
Given such competition, it didn't take long for some of Swango's shortcomings to surface, writes James B. Stewart in his book on Swango. The doctor in charge of transplant surgery, who oversaw Swango's work from mid-October until mid-November, threatened to fail Swango. He didn't believe he was competent to practice medicine.
Finally, someone
This
sensible.
doctor also complained that Swango had a brusque and indifferent manner with patients. Moving to his so-called love life. Kristen Kinney was beautiful, red-haired, 26 years old, and newly divorced when she met Swango in 1991 at Newport News Riverside Hospital. She was a nurse there, and Swango was taking a refresher course. Engaged to a doctor at the facility, Kristen at first regarded her friendship with Swango as platonic, but as the months passed, they clearly became an item. Her friends, who liked her and affectionately called her KK, fretted over the whirlwind romance. One even told her to beware, as it became common knowledge that Swango's attempts for employment at the hospital were rejected for some sort of past scandal. But she laughed off any uncertainty. Swango had been itching to get back into practice and had applied at a number of medical centers across the country. Between nurturing his relationship with KK, he continued to send resumes. In September 1991, he received a phone call from the University of South Dakota in Sioux Falls. Dr. Anthony Salem, the director of the residency program there, was interested. By phone, Salem congratulated him on an excellent resume, but asked him to further clarify certain past history episodes mentioned in Swango's cover letter. Most importantly, a passage that referred to a conviction of battery in Illinois. Swango fabricated. He explained.
Battery in the sense, violent behavior, punching someone in the face, getting into a brawl.
That's called battery?
Yep. Battering someone.
Okay. Oh, battering. Oh, God. Okay.
That he had been involved in an unsightly barroom brawl in which several people were hurt. He was the fall guy who wound up taking all the blame. But he quickly added he now had all his practicing rights restored to him in Virginia, where he now resided. Salem, who said he appreciated the other's frankness, acknowledged that accidents do happen. He invited him to come to Sioux Falls to be interviewed by several teaching doctors. Kristen kissed Swango good luck, and he flew to the meeting, which was set for October 3rd. As the first step of what would be a long selection process, he was interviewed by an assembly of internists who centered their questions on his background in internal medicine.
Jesus, an assembly.
Incredibly, no one asked any
That's
other
how
questions
the
about his
doctor is
conviction on
appointed,
battery
anyways.
charges. Blind Eye author James B. Stewart Oz.
You don't know, right? All these hospitals have an assembly of major doctors.
Yeah.
A doctor who is
Yep,
being
yep.
appointed as a new doctor to the job goes through a process of multiple screenings and
Yep.
it's kind of like an election process is how a new doctor is taken in. Not election, I guess.
being a doctor...
Yeah, tell me.
being a doctor is not an
Easy
easy
task.
job, and
Yep.
you need somebody reliable to be able to take on the job. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. It's a rigorous process wherein a doctor is appointed to his job, so his or her job.
Yep.
So an assembly is just a common thing. And finally, someone caught on to his misdeeds.
It never occurred to them to contact police or judicial authorities in Quincy.
Wow.
Just past the new year, 1992, a long list of candidates for 12 open positions was sliced to less than 20. Even though he hadn't fared well with all interviewers, his name remained afloat. More banter, more shearing. Then, in
Probably
March,
forced his way
Swango
through
was given official
buttering
notice
up
of his
again.
residency to begin in June. He followed up the good news by proposing to KK. She accepted, and together they made plans to move to Sioux Falls. They opted to live together until each was settled in his or her own respective job. Kristen had been hired as an RN at the Royal Sea, Johnson Veterans Memorial Hospital, one of the university's franchises, and looked forward to her new job where she planned to make a difference. Kristen's mother and stepfather, Sharon and Al Cooper, were skeptical. Like Kristen's friends, they were bothered by the blank spots in Swango's background, years he ignored. But as Sharon was to tell an interviewer
Normal public caught on to it. What is in... No, man.
years later, she dismissed her worries by telling herself that it was the answer for Kristen. Husband Al adds,
Kristen had gone through one marriage that hadn't worked out. She wanted desperately to be married and have children.
the Coopers' concerns seemed to be all for nothing. In Sioux Falls, Swango and KK became achievers. He proved to be better than the university had hoped, carving a reputation for himself as one of the best emergency
It's not tough for
situation
him.
doctors
He's got
had
a high
ever
IQ
had.
rating.
Kristen, at the VA hospital, brought a sparkling personality and intensity to the nurses' station that it needed. She became very well liked and respected by both nurses and doctors. By October 1992, Swango had gotten too cocky. Even though he was an unlicensed doctor who had obtained an internship under false pretenses, hiding his past, he dared to apply
Unlicensed?
for membership.
Did I just hear that? What?
So they did revoke his license. And yet he continued. How fucked up
That
is
is
this
a offense.
system?
That is a major offense.
Revoked license? And he was still working? He got appointed into major hospitals like that? As a surgeon.
Under false pretenses. How did nobody catch on? Is it that hard to
Okay, wow. This case is mind-boggling, all right.
even
Moving
more
ahead.
than Harold Shipman, I'd say.
Totally, any day. That dude was just injecting and killing old people.
Sorry guys, but yeah.
No, a kill is still a kill. I do not condone
kill is
that
still a
one
kill.
bit. But this dude is messed up to different levels.
You mean you condone yeah.
Did I say it wrong?
Yes, I think so. We
Whatever.
do not approve
We
of
do not
it.
approve of killing. I might have
Not
told
in
it
any
in a wrong
case.
way, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's okay now. Moving ahead.
In the American Medical Association, AMA. Only one logical reason supports this gutsy move. He must have counted on them not checking his credentials. He was wrong. Conducting its usual background checks, the AMA inadvertently discovered that Swango's conviction in Quincy was not due to a barroom brawl. When Judge Cashman, the
Thank God.
jurist who tried Swango for the poisonings in 1985, heard that a call had come in from the AMA concerning Swango working as a doctor again, he unraveled. Immediately, he returned the call and told AMA official Nancy Watson the true story. Watson related it to her superior, and he related to Dr. Robert Talley, Dean of the University of South Dakota. Good things may come in pairs, but the old cliche had a mirror effect in this case. Just about the time Talley was hearing the bad news about his prized doctor in emergency, 2020 rebroadcast John Stossel's 1986 interview with Michael Swango from the Centralia Correctional
Hell,
Center.
TV caught on to
The
it.
nurses and doctors and patients who knew Swango now saw that man's face on TV, while a voiceover suggested that he might have purposely needled donuts with ant poison. The effect was devastating. He ranted and shouted defamation and did everything he could to show he was being
Yeah.
railroaded.
As usual.
Everything,
As usual.
but hugged Kristen. Feeling deserted, KK waited in humiliation, ducking reporters who badgered her about her berserk boyfriend. Almost more hurtful than the truth of his crimes were the chuckles and giggles that many were having at her expense. One popular radio station played a song, sung to the tune of Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, part of which goes, Swango the troubled doctor. USD says out he goes. And if you saw his rap sheet, all of us would say, oh no. When Kristen's
This is
friends
the
at the
problem
hospital tried to
with
show their
being-
support by inviting her and Swango to a Christmas party, KK noticed that the host's husband followed Swango from room to room and hovered whenever Swango neared the punch bowl and sandwich platters. Headaches began. Pounding, dizzying headaches. Always
Migraines.
troubled by migraines,
There
KK
we go.
had never experienced anything as miserable as these. For a while, she attributed them to tension,
Stress
but
can
deep down inside, she
bring up
wondered if
migraines. I've
Swango
been
was
through that.
dropping chemicals in her food. Gone from him, she continued to love him. Perhaps she continued to believe, meekly, that Swango was innocent and all would be right in the end. But she just couldn't explain why those headaches vanished the day
Tell
she
me.
left.
Go ahead. Tell. It's
This-
okay.
She weighed her
Pause it.
emotions,
No, I'm not
separated
pausing it
her
because
hopes
it's
from the
too huge.
obvious,
You cannot
until
pause
the
and go
obvious
ahead.
became
Let it
too
go.
unbearable. And then she committed suicide. At her
Wow.
apartment, police found a note left behind, addressed to her mom and Al Cooper.
I love you both so much. I just didn't want to be here anymore. Just found day to day living a constant struggle with my thoughts.
So indirectly he
I'd
killed
say I'm
another
sorry, but I'm not. I feel that sense of peace of mind I've been looking for. It's nice.
An addition below to Michael Reed.
I love you more. You're the most precious man I've ever known. Love, KK.
Mr. and Mrs. Cooper.
See, I'm not going to deny love can be unconditional. You will agree to that as well.
Yep.
But don't take such drastic steps. No matter what,
this just
still
goes
as
to show that being a killer, you get all your pleasures out, whatever. You're affecting people's lives, people who are close to you indirectly. You see the amount of stress you put them in. It's not just you who's being ridiculed, it's them as well. They are in it with you.
see.
It's called family for a reason.
I know what you're going to tell that at that point of time when you asked me to pause. You're going to tell that she didn't lose hopes on him and still continue to believe in him. Totally fine.
That's
It's
totally
totally
fine. That I mean, I would do that as well. Honestly speaking, I would do that as well. I would still
Because-
believe that there's some good in
Yeah.
that person left. Yeah.
But the person not doing anything in return to reciprocate to that trust of theirs is a wrong move. And that can deeply hurt someone. Like in
Yep.
KK's case. She ended up taking her
Yep.
life away by herself. So indirectly, this dude killed his own wife as well.
Just kill. Yep.
Kristen Kinney's parents could not accept her suicide. They knew she had been driven to it by a very evil man. And they wanted answers. They wanted to know why this fellow was still practicing medicine, maybe hurting more good people like their beloved KK. In communicating with one of Kristen's nursing friends in South Dakota, Sharon Cooper relayed her wariness over the elusive Swango. She knew he had left to take a residency in Stony Brook, and after what she had found about him through the 2020 program and subsequent newspaper exposes, she felt that there had been a gross error committed somewhere. Her parents being doubtful about
At this
Swango,
point, the entire
pressed
world
charges
knew
and
he had
seek
fucked
for an
up.
investigation.
Except
But
the
nothing
hospitals.
useful turned up, and the case remained cold. Kristen's friend was aghast she hadn't known Swango was working again and pledged to elevate Mrs. Cooper's concerns.
Thank you.
She followed through with her promise. The next day, she sought audience with Dean Robert Talley. Horrified, Dr. Talley directly phoned Dr. Jordan Cohen, Dean of Stony Brook. An emergency meeting ensued, to which Dr. Miller and Swango were summoned. When Miller insisted to hear the real reason for Swango's prison time in Illinois, the latter shrugged, then admitted it had not been for a barroom brawl, but for suspicion of poisoning fellow paramedics. Swango was immediately terminated, but not before the media got a hold of the incident. Now that most of the hospitals in the country had been warned about him, Swango had no choice but to practice in another country. In November
knew it.
1994,
I
he
knew it.
surfaced in Zimbabwe and got a job at Neen Hospital. There again, his patients began dying mysteriously.
Oh,
It was not for another year, however, that the poisonings were traced to him, and he was arrested in Zimbabwe. He was charged with poisonings, but he escaped Zimbabwe before his trial date and hid out elsewhere in Africa and Europe. A year and
Are
a half
you
later, in March
kidding me?
1997, he applied for a job at the Royal Hospital in Iran, Saudi Arabia, using a false resume. In June 1997, he began a double flight from Africa to Saudi Arabia. He had a layover between flights at O'Hare Airport in Chicago, Illinois, and it was there that he was arrested by federal authorities. 3 years later, he was finally tried for the murders he had committed in his medical practices. On July 11th, 2000, Michael J. Swango pleaded guilty to killing 3 of his patients and fraud charges. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. At first glance, arresting Michael Swango on fraud charges seems as
At the end,
incomplete as nabbing
you
Al Capone
mentioned
for income
3, but
tax
it's actually
evasion.
4.
But the federal government had a method in its madness. Modus operandi. Swango did not often vary his methods of murder. With non-patients, such as his co-workers at the paramedic service, he used poisons, usually arsenic, slipping them into foods and beverages. With patients, he sometimes used poisons as well, but usually he administered an overdose of whichever drug the patient had been prescribed, or writing false prescriptions for dangerous drugs for patients who did not need them.
Smart way to get
It is
through.
estimated that, over the course of his career, Swango killed anywhere between 30 and 60 people, even though he was only convicted of 4 of them. His current status as of now is sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole in New York on September 6th, 2000. Sentenced to life in prison with a chance of parole after 20 years in Ohio on October 18th, 2000. So such is the story of Joseph Michael Swango.
Now I know why they could prove only 4 of his murder charges, and rest was all gone away, and they could never get their hands on it. Because most of it were his patients. Most of
Yep.
them, he would prescribe medicines, over prescribe probably, or give them high doses by himself because he's a doctor.
He's a doctor.
And then later, you cannot pin it on the doctor saying that the patient took higher dose, because slip-ups do happen,
They do. They
and
do.
people do end up passing away because of higher medication doses.
Yep.
Schedule H drugs are not meant to be taken on higher dose. They should be taken under a doctor's prescription itself. So probably that's why I guess he must be having 100 plus victims at this point of time.
It could be, given he traveled to multiple countries.
Yep.
Oh god, this guy just never got tired of.
Nope. He just
Killing,
never
didn't
got
he?
tired of being a doctor.
He just did not care. Doesn't work out here. Maybe I'll go to
He
another
must have
country.
forced.
Doesn't work out there.
We heard about the part where his license was revoked, right? Without a license.
we did.
For all we know,
Yep.
he might have forged a license.
Possible? Very possible. You know, in fact, I was thinking before he could fly to Zimbabwe, I was like, okay, if this guy is terminate his license is terminated here, it's not impossible for him to fly to another country, and bam, there, like he flies to Zimbabwe and he.
No,
Kills people
basically,
there
a
as well.
doctor's license is not restricted to a country. If you're a doctor everywhere on the
Exactly.
globe.
Yeah.
So he forged a license, basically. He forges a license.
Exactly.
He's known here. He's wanted here. So he moves out of the country. He
Yeah,
starts
that's
afresh,
what I mean.
where no one knows who he is. And then, voila, there we go. He's killing again. His persuasion level was the finest.
Was the finest. Yep.
And he could pull that off because his IQ was that high. Until school, he was scoring good. That's what we heard.
Yep.
But as he got into college, things started dropping. Because his sick and twisted side started taking the better of him. And do take one thing in consideration, having interests in topics like this does not make you a bad person. Otherwise, we podcasters, all these crime podcasters, would be criminals. We would be killing people left and right.
Yep. It's it's kind of like detective work. Call it that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
detectives literally do this work.
Exactly.
They keep a scrapbook. I am pretty sure most of the detectives keep a scrapbook because they need to know the patterns of how each and
Yep.
every crime was done.
They need to think like a killer.
Yeah, only then they can catch a killer. But
Yep.
that doesn't make them a killer. It's your thoughts and your actions is what makes you a killer.
Yep.
I mean, I'm 100% sure this dude is guilty. He's done deeds so bad. Not only killing, even the fact that he's persuaded his way through many legalities is the fact which shocks me a lot,
This guy took drastic measures just to be able to kill. Just imagine what kind of a person he is. Hell, I don't even do that for regular things.
No, if I have to lie about something, I don't even care to set it up before that. I just go and lie. If I get caught, I get caught. It's okay, fine, fuck it. I couldn't have done.
It's worth a shot,
Because there are many situations wherein you have to lie out of to go ahead
We've
in
all
life.
done it. We've
We've
all done
all
it.
done
Don't
it.
be don't be like, no bro, I never lied. Nah, shut up.
No one is that whitewashed. We all have
Yeah.
done our fair share of lying, so yeah. The fact that
Wow.
this dude set up everything, thought through every single possible thing, had a backup for that, and then did his misdeeds, makes his intentions clear.
Yep. He is not insane. No way he's insane.
Again, one more into the pattern of a smart criminal.
I was just thinking about that. A brilliant strategist.
Alright, you guys let us know what do you guys think about this dude. Your verdict, guilty or not guilty. In my opinion, this is a clear done, open and shut
Guilty.
case. Nail in the coffin, he is guilty. The last nail was spelled guilty, I'm pretty sure.
But yep. You let us know, guilty or not, in the comments.
Do let us know in the
What do you
comment
guys
section
think?
down below. Drop your suggestions. If you guys have any episodes for the next thing up in your mind, let us know about that as well. And apart from that, this episode has become too long. I need to speak to my editor about keeping it this way. So with that being said, do you have anything, Sharon? You're telling something.
No, I wasn't.
No?
Just that. Make sure you watch this till the end because this case is mind-boggling.
I mean, if you heard this dialogue already, you've watched it till the end.
Yep. Congrats. You made it here. You deserve a pat on your back. That's all we can
Yep.
give you. I'm really sorry.
Please do watch the videos till the end, guys. The view duration also does matter quite a lot in the game of YouTube. Do consider dropping a like. That also helps us quite a lot. I mean, you can just straight up like the video and then start watching, and then later if you don't like it, you can uncheck.
Unlike it.
Yeah, unlike it. But please do start with a like, because later on as the video ends, we all forget. Even I do. So subscribe if you're new around here. Comment, share the videos with your friends and your families, because this is totally worthwhile content for you guys to watch. And do know we are putting a lot of effort into it, so we do appreciate your help from the other side as well. So with that being said, guys, that's all for this episode. We will catch you in the next one. Coscast or podcast, depends.
Depends.
Until then, stay safe.
Stay safe.
Love you all. Stay awesome, guys.
And stay awesome.
Thanks for watching, and good night.